Good morning, cultists. Welcome back to another Unbalanced Breakfast with Cthulhoops. Let's play some more Tyranny, and I just clicked on my character thing, and I just opened this up, I guess. So, talent points. There are 6 categories of talents available to your character: leadership, defense, power, agility, ranged, and magic. With each level, you gain 1 point to purchase talent from any one of these categories. Within a talent tree, each tier of talents unlocks based on how many talent points have been spent within that tree. To learn a talent, select an icon and then the save button to confirm your choice. Each companion has their own talent trees with unique abilities. These abilities unlock in the same manner as your character's talents. As you spend within a companion talent tree, further tiers of talents become available. Alright, so we have 1 talent that we can spend, except we need to be level 3 to be able to do this stuff. So I'm thinking maybe I need to invest in my character's defense, I'm thinking. Yeah, let's, Obviously I won't be spending it in any magical range. Maybe agility in the future, but move faster in combat, that's cool. But let's maybe go with shield mastery. I'm thinking that might be best considering my character's meant to, you know, protect and serve and all that shit. Alright, what did we do last time? Oh, you're right, we found this thing that needs to be investigated. Oh, it's this stuff. I thought like maybe it was supposed to be here. I'm like, wait, there's nothing in there though. Got a shitload of crap. Fantastic. Anything else? Blood quip. Were you saying anything? Back again, blood quip. Bitter quip. Looks you up and down, his face unamused. Have you so little to do besides standing around the disfavored camp? Kind of, yeah. Okay, we'll just say bye. Lucia and Marcus. Anything to talk about with you guys? No, it doesn't seem like it. And Lucia, you did mention some good times, so what's happening there? You know? Nothing, and I still don't really know how this works. The skill training system. I guess I'll try athletics again, maybe? What does that do? So it increases to 22? Is that how it works? So my athletics went up to 22 out of 45? What? I don't understand. I don't get it. Anything to explore elsewhere? Or should we conversate more with Verse?
At your service, Fatebinder. What do you need?
I have thoughts about your combat abilities.
Do you now? Call me intrigued. You already know that I memorize the moves of my Scarlet Fury sisters. If it seems like a total mystery to me, I don't know how you could have arrived at any conclusions, but I'm open to ideas.
Okay, well, forget I say anything. Back to my previous questions.
You know just what to tell a girl, don't you? I'll thank you to spare me the empty compliments.
I misclicked. How is it that you picked up your fallen sister's weapon skills? That's been on my mind for some time. I still don't have any explanation that fits. I have a few ideas, but... Verse frowns in deep thought. Scarlet Furies share a sort of link. It's how we coordinate our dance in the heat of battle. We don't pass messages or anything, but our emotions and intentions sync up without words. She starts worrying one of her knives? What does that mean? After a moment, she sighs and slaps a blade back into its sheath. So I need to be a war mage, okay. Were you grouped because of your compatibilities? Something like that. But when it came to my sisters, we had as many differences as similarities, so it's difficult to tell. The one thing I always knew was that I felt this connection more keenly than my sisters did. I could pick up nuances that they missed, and I could feel them from farther away. When my sisters died, I felt each of them getting yanked out of my brain like someone pulling snails from a garden. But some of their slime residue was still there. Does that make any sense? I don't want to gain fear. I don't think. Unless you can do both. So I said, you should exploit the skill to its fullest potential. Skill? Not sure if I'd call it that. There's something parasitic about it. But I take your point. If there's an advantage to this, thing I'm experiencing. I'm not using it against our... I'm not above using it against our foes. No matter how you paint it, some part of my sisters broke off in me when they died, and now I'm left to deal with it. Just another day in the tears, right? So what are your thoughts on the disfavored? Warn of self-entitled children so wound up in delusions of honor they like to hang themselves by their own high standards. I wish they had stayed in the Northern Empire where they belonged. Then we could get some real work down here in the tiers. What do you think of their leader, Graven Ash? I've seen enough of that high-minded braggart to know that he's all duty. Nothing but a charismatic, broad-shouldered scarecrow. He calls himself the Archon of War, though by the way he stalls his forces waiting for a better strategy to present itself, you would think he's afraid of battle. You would think that someone more deserving would take Ash's mantle from him, but the disfavored have his cult of personality built around their great general. In their eyes, he can do no wrong. What about Ash's connection to his troops? Graven Ash protects. His soldiers keep harping on those words like they mean something. I don't deny that the disfavored can take a few extra lumps on the battlefield, but that only speaks to their thick-headedness. If anything, it's only true because his soldiers place that much trust in it. I've seen the power of suggestion do stranger things to people. Could that be possible? We're talking about a man who's centuries old and wears glowing armor. You tell me. Who would you see take Ash's place? I'd rather let the disfavored sort things out amongst themselves. Graven Ash is this aging figurehead of what should be a constantly changing role. The right soldier needs to grow a pair and kill the old man. Kick his cane out from under him. Remind the Legion what strength looks like. The voices of Nerat changes. He's a multifaceted gem, and the Scarlet Chorus is a reflection of that beauty. If someone could rise up and strike down the voices, any of us would follow them in a heartbeat. I suppose you have a better idea of how to handle the disfavored forces? Of course I do. First, I'd stop babying the troops. Pain is a lesson best learned early. I'd conscript the locals and to bolster the front lines, because why waste your elite on the vanguard? Then I'd leave any misplaced ethics back in the Northern Empire. They're not helping Kyros' campaign anyway, so fuck them. Oh, they actually use the word fuck in this game, okay. Excellent. You would make them more like the Scarlet Chorus, I guess? But no, I actually disagree with that, so I'm gonna say you take away everything that makes them strong. It's a damn fine alternative from where I'm standing. If all that strength couldn't end the siege, what good is it to anyone? So we're at 62% to tier 1, wow, that's pretty high. Would that be so wrong? The chorus is accountable for itself in the ways that the disfavored aren't. Our weak die and the strong fight to keep their rank. The disfavored promote their waning bloodline, and discipline any soldier with the audacity to show their teeth. Though they never admit it, the disfavored need the chorus to show them the way. Back to my questions about the disfavored. Do you think the disfavored have a chance to succeed in the tiers? Speaking as one of the exceptions, most of the tiersmen are pushovers. The people of Stalwart seem capable enough, though I have my doubts. You might call them the disfavored's best challenge. Even if they succeed, it might be too late to redeem themselves. The chorus have already impacted the conquest more than the disfavored have, or likely ever will. What are your thoughts on their battle strategies? They've really got something with this phalanx maneuver, a formation built on holding still, moving forward slowly, and hoping that no one slips in the mud. At best, the disfavored are tired of using the same tactic over and over again. At worst, the enemy knows what to expect out of them. Scarlet Furies are dancers. We hear the music of the battle and organize ourselves into works of killing art. Every fight is as hot and passionate as the last, with no room for stale routine. Let me ask about something else. What do you think of those who defy Kyros' authority? The tiersmen can fight or submit to Kyros' peace, and only one of those options captures my interest. I suppose I appreciate when they go down fighting. If they did otherwise, I would need to find another excuse to flay them. They do need to understand, whether they unify the tiers under a shared banner or at the bottom of a mass grave makes little difference to you, me, or Kyros. That's an interesting view of the conquest. It's a pragmatic one anyway. The Scarlet Chorus caught onto the idea at the beginning of the campaign. If no one objects that we're here to carve a bloody path for gain and amusement, then by all accounts that is our purpose. Besides, unification is such a vague concept that Kyros allows the disfavored and the chorus to interpret as they will. The Overlord is concerned with results. I'm happy to focus on the details, especially if that means cutting off a farmer's legs while his family watches their land burn. Well, no shame in taking pleasure in your work. No, there isn't, Fatebinder. I suspect that we're going to make something great together. A line of bodies stretching as far as the old walls. It's gonna be beautiful. She looks at you with a renewed interest. Did you fight in any notable battles? I spent some time in Azure towards the end of the war. Beastmen ripped my unit apart. I thought they might be working under Karen's orders, but we never found out for sure. Let's change the subject. You learned a thing or two about fighting the Scarlet Chorus. Care to duel?
That would be an understatement, and I thought you'd never ask. Since you're obviously at a huge disadvantage, I'll let you pick our weapon of choice.
I'm not good at any of those, so on second thought, let's fight another time. I want to survive this day.
Feel free to draw iron or bronze anytime.
Fantastic. So we're actually done talking to Verse, as far as I can tell. So let's go into the tent and see what's up. It's a rather long loading screen for... Whoa. Is that what they look like? Interesting. Let's quick save. And maybe... Okay, we can't.
That's 4 reports of avalanches in the mountains now. The Tearsmen can barely count past 9. They have neither the capacity nor the cause to close off the mountain passes. Either way, that leaves the 2nd and 4th cohort trapped outside the valley.
The Archon of War pounds his staff onto the ground to puncture his words. A large and imposing man to begin with. His profile is made larger still by his hulking suit of armor that hums with mystic energy.
Or it's the work of your perfidious Earthshakers. Only a fool would not suspect a traitorous Archon of poisoning the mind of his students with sedition. We would have killed the Earthshakers Guild for their master's treachery, but I'm sure you have some perfectly valid reason for allowing them to live as your pawns.
The Archon of Secrets passes a scepter between his hands as he speaks, twirling the rod in hypnotic circles. You hear the voices in your head. Well, hello there, Fatebinder. We'll be with you in just a moment. Emerald luminescence seeps from the seams of the Archon's ragged red robes. That's a pretty awesome alliteration. The glow is most noticeable where his neck ought to be. His mask seems to float and spin, never pivoting or bending naturally.
Hey, watch yourself. When these two get going, you don't want to get between them.
So, should I just... Let's just remain silent and see how this pans out.
I always know you've run out of things to say when you resort to mocking my vassals. If we are to speak of treachery, why is it that my scouts see the Scarlet Chorus warriors defecting back to the Vendrian Guard? Your fearsome reputation has gone flaccid, for it seems you cannot control your soldiers, or perhaps you simply choose not to.
My lords, the Fatebinder has arrived. The disfavored commander raises her voice, trying with little success to speak over the Archons. Perhaps we could table this discussion and let our guest speak.
Speaking of strategic failures, who was it that insisted the valley would need only a token garrison? For some strange reason, we can't seem to recall which balding halfwit grossly underestimated the enemy. Thoughts?
The Archon of Secrets twirls his scepter in a twisting loop, his leather-wrapped hands flipping the heavy rod with an effortless flow. You hear the voices in your head. Can you hear us, Fatebinder? Cough if we have your attention. I will... cough audibly.
And I thought you had left agents within these Tearsmen when they surrendered. Either you failed to see this coming, or you knew and let it happen. Incompetent or in cahoots, either way, this mess has your filthy stink all over it.
The Archon of War lurches forward, resting his weight on his war maul, as blue luminescence crackles over his armor, or around his armor.
We look forward to seeing you explain to Tunon why the Archon of War could not close the vice on this trivial little insurgency. When we are crowned the ruler of the Tears, we shall have this place renamed to Ash's Folly in your honor.
The voices of Narat tosses a scepter into the air, catching it as it descends back down. You hear the voices in your head. Good, good. Now pay attention. You might miss something. Let's remain silent.
If I could trust the information I get from you and your conscripted mouth breathers, perhaps I'd order my cohorts around a bit more aggressively. But last time I trusted your all-clear report, my troops failed to come home.
Oh, Ash, old boy. If you're going to have a little sob every time one of your nieces or nephews dies to the tearsman, perhaps we should have Siren sing you some calming lullabies to help you cope with your grief.
Siren is the Archon of Song, and the youngest Archon sent to conquer the tears. Young and inexperienced, Siren is sworn to the voices of Nerat, who uses her powers of charm and manipulation to swell the ranks of the Scarlet Chorus with volunteers. The Archon flips his scepter 3 times around, humming gleefully. You hear the voices in your head. Take care that you don't learn too much, Fatebinder. An excess of knowledge, of curiosity even, can earn unwanted attention. Hold your tongue. I will not have you denigrate the honor of our fallen brethren. The commander's hand moves to the hilt of her blade. Though the weapon stays sheathed, I'd be doing us all a favor if I cracked open that excuse for a head. They bicker like children, do they not? The fifth eye's grating tenor pierces the tension in the tent, and all eyes land on the crimson spear. I, meant only to say welcome. Welcome to our guest, the Fatebinder. The armored retainer bows with rushed inelegance and then rises to a salute. And not a moment too soon.
Did I give you permission to speak?
The Archon of War turns to you, his blue eyes wide with anger. The many portraits you've seen depict Graven Ash with a stern, unamused countenance. He's even more taciturn in the flesh. So I can gain favor with Graven Ash and lose favor with the voices of Nerat. I think the voices of Nerat he doesn't like, or he or she, I don't know, doesn't really like, what's it? Order? Whereas this guy's more lawful. So I can be apologetic, or I can glare. Maybe I should glare. I'll try glaring. I glare silently.
Stormcaller, it is an honor to have you with us. I would imagine you are here with another of Kyros' edicts. Perhaps another catastrophe that will punish our foes for hiding behind their walls?
Great, we gained major favor with them, which is fantastic.
My soldiers tell me you helped Commander Terratus on your way through Edring. You honor the court with your selfless cooperation, for that is the sort of camaraderie that Kyros demands of us all.
On the last of his words, the Archon glares at the voices of Nerat, furrowing his brow as he utters the word camaraderie. I kind of want to be nice with both of them, I think. But if I'm polite, I'm just gonna lose favor with the voice of Nerat, which I don't really want to do. Yeah, the voice of Nerat seems to be more like chaotic, whereas he's more lawful. You know what though? I think I might have to curry favor with one of them. And maybe not with the other? Nah, minor favor, lose minor favor, or I could gain wrath. Do I want to gain wrath with them? Let's just gain favor and lose favor. It's fine. So I said, it is an honor to be here, and I bowed.
It would seem the honor is all yours.
The voices of Nerat slaps his scepter against his hand, chuckling softly to himself. Okay, what do I get if I get your wrath? Let's just try it. I require no thanks for my sworn duty.
Modesty is your prerogative, but know that cooperation and goodwill have been rarities of late. You do your Lord Tunon a great honor by aiding your cousins in the disfavored.
Oh, don't mind us while you trade your gushing praise. We're sure the Fatebinder has come because our company lacks in small talk.
Actually, yes. I come bearing an edict of Kyros.
It seemed only yesterday you were proving your worth in battle, assisting my warriors in the siege of the bastard city. Now Kyros has chosen you for a second time to proclaim an edict. Tell us, good Fatebinder, what sort of punishment does the Overlord have in store for the Oathbreakers?
Do I want to gain wrath or favor? I could gain minor wrath, whereas I gain average wrath with him. Or I could just try to stay neutral, I guess? Let's get the voice of Nerat's wrath. It seems you need some encouragement to work together. Kyros' edict will end the lives of everyone in this valley unless Ascension Hall is claimed by Kyros' Day of Swords. The earth sways with each word you utter, the air thickening with warmth as you pronounce the tersely phrased commandment. It's every syllable drafted by the hand of Kyros. With the edict proclaimed, your pulse quickens and the muscles in your legs, worn from a long trip down the mountains, feel renewed. The tired limbs now nearly buoyant with vigor. I didn't actually read it though, right? Okay. I did read it.
The Overlord means to compel us into action. No doubt the avalanches in the mountains are part of this ultimatum. We must conquer the Oathbreakers or die in failure. There is no room for error, and no other way out of this valley alive. We'll need to advance across the Mittani. We lose everything if we stand still, and we move to backup Plan Green. The Earthshakers didn't make it over the mountain in time, so we do this the hard way. Over the walls instead of through.
The Archon of War taps a finger against his temple. A low rumble escapes from under his beard.
So you found your backbone at last! Oh, we were worried past humiliations would make you soft, timid. That was a record for you, right? The baker's dozen lost in one sortie. If you had waited for the chorus reinforcements, maybe we'd have eyes and ears on the matter.
The Archon of Secrets passes a scepter from one hand to the next, chuckling softly with each toss. You hear the voices in your head. Watch him squirm. So many tears over replaceable, expendable, useless soldiers. I miss the old Archon of War. You'd never see Blood Echo in a blubbering mess over a few dead killers. He'd used the knuckle bones of his best disciples for jewelry, and even made a breastplate out of his dead brother's ribcage, because that's how a real man deals with grief. Well, I don't know, man. Maybe in the olden days, but come on. We can gain Wrath with Graven Ash and gain Fear. Do I want to anger him? I don't know if I would really want to anger him. He seems super powerful. Let's say learn to work together or we're all doomed.
The Fatebinder is right. We're acting not as leaders, but as children. I've no time for your foolish japes and petty taunts. We should focus on the objective at hand, and that is taking the Mittani River, and then advancing to Ascension Hall and ending this edict.
Let's go with the neutral one. I'm kind of scared of creating too much wrath from the voices of Nerat. Then enough talking, there's work to be done. My lord, Barak and his band have been drilled into the Echo Call assault plans. The Crescent Runner should be briefing him as we speak regarding the latest enemy movements along the river. I will dispatch him at once. The Iron Marshal salutes, clapping her gauntlet to her breastplate. Who's Barak? Barak is the commander of the Stone Shields, and is well regarded by the elite inner circle of the disfavored High Command. Barak served in Stalwart, now known as the Blade Grave, thanks to me, where he marched at the vanguard in countless battles. During the Stalwart campaign, the Scarlet Chorus suffered numerous losses and tried to blame Barak and his cohort, but you ruled against the chorus's spurious blame shuffle. I guess Barak's gonna like me. And I will ensure the chorus stands ready to march. If the disfavored can take the river, the chorus has the manpower to secure the outer ring of the valley.
Our soldiers clamor for battle, and at last we shall have it. Verse, we command you to continue guarding the Fatebinder. Tunan's chosen is our honored guest, and must be shown our finest hospitality.
You seem nice to me, so maybe I should have curried favor with you.
I won't let you down, boss. He'll get through the campaign in one piece, as long as he doesn't do anything too stupid.
Okay, then we're all doomed. The Archon twirls his scepter one last time, then taps the fifth eye on the shoulder, and the two depart. You hear the voices in your head. Suit yourself, Fatebinder. The more you ignore us. I didn't ignore you! I didn't ignore you at all!
The fool and his puppet are gone. Perhaps now I can hear myself think. Rarely do I question Kyros' judgment, but I will never understand why the voices of Narot is given such authority. I shudder to think what will become of us all should Tunon favor him in the end.
What do you mean in the end?
Though the edict threatens the Scarlet Chorus just as it threatens us, I cannot shake the feeling that our allies will work against us. I am reminded of our last campaign, here in Vendrian's Well, when the Scarlet Chorus insisted we observe an armistice to cater to some backwoods tearsman festival of carnality. We were lucky you were present to overrule such a foolish notion, so it is good you are here now to squash any further spurious delays.
Well, why would I gain wrath with him? He left. He's not here anymore.
You've shown your worth in war, and your name has been known to the Legion since the very beginning of this long conquest. So I'd ask that you join us this one last time, to help us wrap up this last objective. If you wish to be counted amongst the glorious, speak with the Iron Marshal. She will direct the order of battle until we are ready for the final push into the Citadel.
Well, as long as I get to hit my face against other people's fists more, that's all I need. That's all I ever want. I'm short a few scouts, short a few soldiers, short a few everything. I'm sure my brethren would be grateful for the assistance of a skilled outsider. So I can gain wrath. And what of the Scarlet Chorus? How will they be helping?
I ask myself that question often. While we take the river crossing, the Scarlet Chorus should be using their sizable presence to remove the Oathbreaker patrols lurking in the outer valley.
The Oathbreakers have maintained a sizable force outside the Citadel. We need the Chorus's manpower to scour the region. Otherwise, the Oathbreakers will attack at our heels once we cross the Mittani. I would be honored to help. The Iron Marshal salutes, graven ash, then turns to leave the tent. I'll be at the training grounds, readying the soldiers. Find me there when you are ready. She pauses, clearing her throat. And though I am loath to mention it, the Chorus can likely use your assistance. They certainly won't secure the outer valley on their own. Fifth Eye will be somewhere in that rat's nest they call a camp, due east. Seek him out if you must. I'm walking very slowly. Anything to
That wasn't so
steal?
hard.
Yes. I'm gonna steal your shit from inside your tent while you're still here. Fantastic. Blood moss. That sounds distinctively like something from Dark Souls. Now that you have delivered word of Kyros' edict to the armies, the time remaining until Kyros' Day of Swords appears next to the current date on the navigation bar. The terms of Kyros' edict must be met before, by the state, or everyone in Vendrian's Well will die. Fantastic. Can we talk to you more? The Archon of War lets out a long sigh as he surveys the map and models displayed about his desk. He glances over his shoulder, making brief eye contact with you, furrows his brow, and turns back to his contemplation. The missive said the Stormcaller was calling. My god. The missive said the Stormcaller was coming. Seems I was fooled to think you'd bring an edict that would pulverize and punish the Oathbreakers. I will bow to the Archon. May we speak a moment? I do not have much patience left for words, but I will not turn away an honored friend. You have been our trusted ally in the court since the early days of the conquest. Least I can do is spare you a moment of my time. What is on your mind? Your regiment here in Vendrine as well is small, even by disfavored standards. This conquest has spread us thin. Every league we conquer must be held. I issued the call to assembly, but most of the cohorts remain trapped across the mountains. No bother. Won't be the first time I've had to do much with little. I need to know why conquering a few lowly tiersmen is so impossible a task. The Archon lets out a long sigh, glaring at you with a furrowed brow. It is not for lack of trying. Early in the year, when the chorus were still gathering to the valley, I launched a raiding party to head straight to the Citadel. They never made it past the Matani River. With no disfavored survivors and no chorus scouts with eyes on the situation, I know very little of what occurred, only that they died quickly. That left me short-handed and in need of more troops, and they've been slowly trickling in from everywhere, and I guess I've been guilty of waiting for my numbers to be overwhelming instead of merely enough. What became of the warriors who left to garrison this region years ago? I too have questions about that. The Archon inhales sharply, his posture becoming defensive. His cold blue eyes stare at you with unblinking intensity. I have reason to believe that when the garrison was taken, the disfavored were slain, not by the Oathbreakers. And though I know it my bones... What? You mean, and though I know it in my bones, I cannot prove the voices of Narat is at fault. Well, what's your reason to believe such a thing? It is well known that I can protect my soldiers from harm even if they are beyond my sight. What is less known is that I sense every cut, every kill, every illness. No harm to my soldiers escapes my notice. Really? Wow. Of the warriors posted at the Vendrine's Well Citadel, only 2 were slain in the uprising, but a few others died later, and horrible, painful magic was involved. My son was one of those who died under such unusual circumstances. Your son was among those killed? Yes, my son Brennix was posted with a garrison, but I felt his death happen elsewhere, after the battle. But all my legion are family. That he is of my flesh must remain irrelevant. The Archon furrows his brow. His face turns away. That is a hefty claim to offer with no real proof. Agreed, and that is why I do not wish to formally say anything at this time. Let us talk of something else. What can you tell me of Cairn, the late Archon of Stone? I should have known sooner his heart was strayed from Kyros. I needed to split our forces, send him to Azure while I tackled Stalwart, but that was a mistake. Without me looming near, he must have felt free to live out his traitorous dreams. Why do you think he turned against Kyros? I didn't know he turned against Kyros. Cairn only served us because death was the alternative. He did not admire the unity and progress that Kyros brings. While I suspect Chorus agents may have whispered treachery in Cairn's ear, I think it wholly possible Cairn fell into disloyalty by his own volition. What has become of Cairn's disciples, the Earthshakers? Cairn's chief disciple, Radix, now speaks for the guild. It is true that my warriors are a bit apprehensive about our magical allies. Many suspect Cairn's treachery was taught to them. But I have vetted the guild, pruned whom I don't trust, kept those who I can. Let's speak of something else. What is on your mind? Your distrust of the voices of Narat is plain as day. How did this antipathy begin? Our rivalry is an old one. The voices of Narat served Kyros before I did, and I believe he hates me for being roughly the same status in his eyes of the Overlord, despite being the younger Archon selected to lead an army through the tiers. The Archon furrows his brow, grumbling softly as he stares. This war seems to have brought out the worst in us. We've disagreed on strategy at every turn. I think you're right to be wary of the voices of Narat. Okay, no, not the command line, please. I'm glad you concur, for I feel my paranoia around him is somewhat justified. And that's it. That's all. For the glory of Kyros, the Archon of War taps the haft of his maul to the ground for emphasis, then turns back to his maps. Great, fantastic. So we got not a ton done, but at least we have a little bit more lore now. So I do apologize, but as I've mentioned before, this is kind of gonna be the basic gist of how this playthrough is gonna go, because it's an RPG and there's gonna be a lot of dialogue. So hope you guys don't mind. But yeah, and I hope you guys join me in the next episode. So thank you very much for watching and have a good breakfast.